Okay, everyone. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but to be honest, I need a vacation, and Lamar's on punishment. So
Yeah.
this is Lamar and LJ. What the hell are you talking about? I almost got the name of the goddamn program wrong. I
I
almost
know.
forgot.
It hasn't been that long.
I know it hasn't been that long. The last time we did a show was July 3rd, so yeah, maybe about 2 weeks. I was in Boston. You went to Detroit. You know,
Two
we didn't watch any.
non-glorious vacations.
Yeah, I know it was a work vacation, so I was in different. We were in different places, but lots happened since then, especially in the NBA. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about your friend Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, we got him. He got him and who? Him and Danny Green got traded from the Spurs to for Derozen and some guy that I can't pronounce his last name, and a protected first round pick. So the word was that DeRozan. I mean, well, yeah. I will start with DeRozan. He was like pissed off because the owner just told him that he wasn't gonna get traded a week ago, and then he got traded. But I'm like, that's just the business. They're not gonna say anything to upset you. So if you don't get traded, then you're still happy. But once you get traded, it doesn't matter at that point. So
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
it's just
So
the
if
business.
you get mad at the guy from Toronto, the previous owner, what does he care? You
Right.
know, you have to realize this is a business
Right.
and treat everything as a business. They if you wanted to go somewhere else, then you should have left. It's that's up to you. But I don't. But like he's going to a way better place. Toronto, you're paying U.S. taxes and Canadian taxes. It's cold up there. Even though Toronto's a nice city, but I wouldn't want to be there in the wintertime. Um, you're going to a great organization in Texas where you pay no state taxes. You have a great coach, great great ownership, just a great team around you. You're going to be in the playoffs, and you're going to be featured. So I don't see the bad part about that. To
Yeah, I
be
mean,
honest with
yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe he just likes Toronto that much because he is one of the few players that actually re-signed with Toronto and didn't complain about being there. It wanted actually seemed like he wanted to be there. Like everybody else gets there and wants out, ends up leaving one way or another. So it's funny he was the first first player to be loyal to them, and they wanted him out. But it wasn't so much that they wanted him out, but they wanted Kawhi Leonard. So they and I don't blame them for doing the trade because it's true. Kawhi Leonard might just leave after one season, and he probably will. I think he is, but you never know what's gonna happen. One and two, I guess they figured they had to shake up their roster anyway because this team, as constructed, didn't seem to be getting over the hump. Now, granted, LeBron James is out of the conference, and he was the one that was stopping them. So you could make the argument that they could have just tried out at least this season and see what happens without LeBron in your way, but at the same time, nobody really believed in Toronto, even as a number one seed. So, like, I started to believe in them, and then they let me down. So, it was one of the things where, your two star players don't feel like star players because they're really not star players. I mean, DeRozan's a star player, but he's not like a superstar. He's not a guy who you feel like is gonna get you far anyway. So,
he's a number two guy. To be honest with you, I think that I think that DeRozan and Kawhi Leonard should have played together. To be honest with you, they
yeah,
shouldn't be traded for each other. If I was Toronto, I would try to do everything besides trade DeRozan. I would, maybe if I don't know if San Antonio would have agreed to it, but if they had something, I would have tried to make that move to try to bring somebody who can score with uh, Kawhi Leonard. I don't think they would have wanted Kyle Lowry or Jeff Pro or John, whatever his name is. They got him already, but I'm not sure who they would have wanted.
yeah.
But I would have probably cleaned out my entire team and just had Kawhi and him together and see what happens then.
Yeah, I don't think San Antonio would have went for anybody else on that team, even if it was a combination of guys or whatever. They wanted definitely a star back because they're losing one of the top 5 6 players in the NBA. So I don't think that they're looking to rebuild or start over. They at least have a star player there that with Greg Popovich and they're going to be solid. Even without a star player last, they got still Aldridge, but he's another one who's a number two guy. So, but even with just him as the best player, they won 47 games or something like that and made a playoff. So, with DeRozan and him, they can probably win at least 50, they can probably win about 55 games and still be considered a contender, even though nobody thinks that they can beat the Warriors. But they can beat anybody else probably. Maybe Houston, maybe not Houston, but Houston I think is going to take a step back this year anyway. But as far as Toronto's concerned, this year I think getting Kawhi Leonard puts them back as a possible top four team in the East. And the only question is we don't know how good their coach is because they fired their coach. They hired one of their assistants, so the same system is going to be in place for the most part. But you still don't know. It's a different guy. You don't know how good. I mean, Toronto's a good organization too. They're quietly a pretty good organization. They've been a winning team for a long time. They're never down for too long either. They're just never considered a real true contender. But you just don't. Nobody likes to stay there, and you just don't know what they're gonna be. But I think they put themselves back in the contender conversation by having Kawhi. They definitely upgraded. Now it's just a matter of can they keep him? Can they keep if they if will he like enough there to keep him? Because I don't see why I don't see why he would want to stay still when he can go to LA and still be a contender and be on a better team, be on a better city. So I just don't see him staying. But you never know. It happens. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if if the Clippers are a better team because that's the team he said he wanted to go to.
Yeah.
The
Well, he
Clippers.
also still the Lakers are still in the mix, but yeah, I think the Clippers are more out there now because he didn't want to be in that LeBron shadow.
Well, there are always these quotes you see on social media that say, "I don't want to play behind LeBron," but I've never heard him say anything
Right.
like that or anything.
Or
Has
anything. Period. For that
yeah,
matter.
yeah, like all the talk is coming from his camp, and his camp pretty much fucked him over because I think that if he would have stayed in San Antonio, I think he would have at least had another championship under his belt in his lifetime. Uh, I don't know how long Craig Popovich is going to be coaching. Doesn't seem like he's going to be coaching for that much longer. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's looking very old. And he just lost his wife this year, and not sure what motivates him to even coach anymore. Because he's never going to have the number one a top pick
Right.
because
He'll
he's
never have a
just too
Tim
good of a
Duncan again. That's
coach.
for sure. And the word is after the 2020 Olympics that he's gonna retire. That's the word. Once because he's coaching that team, and then after that he's done. That's what the word is. So and that makes sense.
Well, yeah, it makes sense, but after that, will San Antonio just become a garbage team in the West? You
Maybe.
can never know because he's been part of that franchise since like the late '80s.
Yeah.
As a GM and then as a coach, so he's responsible for everything
Mm.
in that. He's responsible for all the winning culture. It's kind of like Bill Belichick in New England.
Right.
Before he got there, but they really winning anything? They weren't.
No.
They went to the
They
Super
weren't good
Bowl
since
with Bill
since
Parcells, but
'85.
they weren't really a good team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. Parcells during a small stint that he was there, he had them going, but then once he left, then they started
Yeah,
going
they got that.
crazy.
Yeah, they got the number three overall pick, which is I forgot who they picked. Richard Seymour. There you go. In 2001.
Mm.
So
I would have
so
never
it's not.
known that. You just remembering crazy shit.
Yeah, they got Richard Seymour in 2001 with with like a top five pick, and then they won the Super Bowl the same year.
That's
So
yeah. Belichick, Belichick and Popovich, they're like the two best right now. Like so, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's gonna be done probably around 2020, and then they'll probably go. I mean, they've been good for a long time. So they had one off season when David Robinson got hurt and they got Tim Duncan, but they were really, really good for a long time. And So this could be. I mean, Derozen's. They say Derozen's got what 3 years on his contract, so he ain't going nowhere no time soon. But Kawhi, on the other hand, and again, like I said, Toronto, they had to do something because they kind of had to shake that team up. Some people, I heard some analysts saying that it was a bad idea to do that and this and that, especially since LeBron just left the conference. I'm like, yeah, but shake it up a little. This roster's not doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So I want to fire
But
Dwayne Casey.
yeah, I would have did that, but not to bring my Knicks into the conversation again, but this frees up the Knicks not this season but next season. Um, Kawhi is not going to stay in Toronto. I think there's a 0.0 chance of him staying there. 0.0. Um, he leaves and goes to the West. Then it's just Boston and in the East. Toronto's not going to be a player anymore. That's it. They're
Yeah, they're
done.
done. After this, they're done. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
after
surprised if
Kawhi's
they
gone.
trade Kyle Lowry soon. I think they should. I think they should shake up. I think they should trade him too. Get and just try to. Or I don't know what they should, who they should trade for, but I think they should just change that core. Like,
His jersey's going to be retired, and they don't have any retired jerseys.
nah, his jersey's not gonna be retired.
They don't have any. They need one. You know,
Yeah,
like they
it's gonna be
need a
Vince
retired
Carter. It may
jersey.
be Vince Carter when he retires, but it ain't gonna be no Kyle Lowry. That's for sure.
He was with the team for longer than Vince Carter.
It has he?
I think so.
Lowry's only been there like 3 years or so.
He's been there for longer than three
No, no
years.
more than four. No more than four. He hasn't been there that long because he was with Houston. Well, was he there twice, or was he with Houston twice?
No, he was with. Hold on, I'm gonna look that shit up right now.
Well, even if he has been there longer, he's not jersey retirement worthy. Do not retire Kyle Lowry's
What you go
jersey.
2012 to now, so that's 6 years.
Kyle Lowry's been there 6 years.
Yeah, 2012 to now.
Damn. Okay, I didn't even know it was that long. All right. I
Uh,
still wouldn't
how
retire
about
his
Chris
jersey.
Bosh?
Chris Bosh probably was only there about 5 years because I think he left after.
7 years. He was there from 2003 to 2010, so seven
Okay.
seasons.
Okay.
You know, because they would that Miami thing. How
They
about
they ain't gonna
Vince?
retire his jersey either.
Will the Knicks retire Carmelo Anthony's jersey?
No.
No.
No. His jersey might not get retired anyway.
And that's the thing. Like, if he would have stayed with one team for long, like Denver, if he would have stayed with Denver, he'd have his jersey retired, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a
They they
10-time All
might
Star.
they might still retire it, but I doubt it.
I don't think so.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so
he's gonna
either.
retire.
Well, yeah, he's probably. How long was he there?
If,
Like he was there about 7 years too, right?
well,
Or
Vince
eight?
was
Or
in
eight?
Toronto for 6 years, from 1998 to 2004,
Okay.
and
But how long was Melo in Denver? About seven? Because he was there a year after Chris Bosh left, right?
yeah, he was there. But no, he wasn't there a year. Remember, he left in the middle of
Oh,
the
the
season.
middle of that season, the next season.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Let's see.
So they both was there about the
From
same time.
from he's there for 8 years, 2011. So he was there for 8 seasons,
Okay.
and he was with the Knicks for 6 seasons.
Yeah. Denver might retire his
Yeah,
jersey.
eight seasons. That's good enough to retire the
Yeah.
jersey. It
He
that's
had them
like on
in
the
the play.
cusp. It's
He had
kind
them
of
in the
like
playoffs every year. He took them to the conference finals. They'll probably retire his jersey.
how about LeBron in Miami? Will they retire his jersey?
Absolutely, they're gonna retire all LeBron, Bosh, and Wade's jerseys in Miami. I could bet
Well,
on
yeah,
it.
well, yeah, but Miami they retired Michael Jordan's jersey.
Yeah,
So
which is crazy. So crazy to me and shit. It's crazy. Well, I don't know. That's weird. Since we're talking about Carmelo, we might as well talk about him getting traded to Atlanta. But they're gonna buy him out. I
he
don't
is the
just.
greatest player in Atlanta Hawks history.
um,
You see how stupid that sounds?
like they saying about LeBron in LA.
Yeah, see how stupid that sounds?
um, and yeah, speaking of that, well, I will get to that in a minute. But yeah, so it looks like Carmelo's probably gonna go to Houston. I heard Miami might make a run at him, but looks like Houston. People saying LA, but
That's the
nobody in LA is
stupidest
saying
move that
LA.
Houston would make. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and people are saying LA, but nobody in LA saying LA. So I don't believe that they want him there. I don't think. I mean, I know him and LeBron boys and all, but I don't think LeBron wants to play with him at this point. I don't think they're a better team with him. Like, I mean, you can sign him for 1 year, and because they're not gonna win a championship anyway. Houston's trying to win a championship. Houston was close to winning, to getting to the championship. I don't think. I think they should have did whatever they could to try to keep Ariza at least, even if they let Bahamute go. If that, I hope that's how you say it.
So
They
right.
should have at least tried to keep Ariza. But I think Ariza is just out for the money now. Ariza already got a ring. I guess he's just like, I'm just make the money. But yeah, I don't know. Carmelo,
And Clint Capella hasn't re-signed.
well, because the he's a restricted free agent, so they're gonna see if somebody wants to offer him something and they match it, which would probably be better for them because they already pretty much know that they're gonna have to owe him a lot of money, so they were probably hoping somebody else would sign an offer sheet with them that's less than what they would have accepted. You know, what I mean, it was less than what they wanted to pay, and then they'll just accept that. You know, they'll just match that. But I don't think anybody's gonna touch them. People aren't doing the offer sheet thing that much anymore. Did you notice that? Like,
Well, they did with Zach Levine. You know,
yeah,
they tried to get Zach Levine with an offer sheet in Sacramento,
yeah,
and the Bulls just decided that they wanted to they wanted to re-sign.
yeah.
I think that Sacramento really wants a shooting guard now because they traded Buddy Yield.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
Uh,
Oh, they traded him to
tra- Memphis.
yeah, and they just signed. They signed somebody that Dallas was going to resign, then they retracted his deal. Like some dude I never heard of. I think he was a guard, and he wanted, and they had agreed to a deal, but then Dallas changed their mind. And so Sacramento ended up signing that guy. But yeah. What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna. I lost my train of thought.
You have to be professional here. All right, so next time with Zach Levine, he was re-signed by the Bulls. Basically, I don't know about that Bulls team. I like their point guard though. I I don't know why Minnesota didn't just stick it out with that guy,
Oh, the guy that they traded for Butler,
Jimmy
was it?
Butler. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Oh yeah,
So
because they
yeah,
got Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler doesn't want to play with them anymore.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, by the way, the Knicks are in talks with Minnesota. I saw that last week. And the Knicks are
they're
in
in
talks.
talks with him.
Yeah, for Jimmy Butler.
What are they gonna give up for Jimmy Butler?
I don't
Picks?
know, but they're probably just testing the water and see what Minnesota wants. But
Just wait for him.
I'll take
Uh,
I'll trade him for Tim Hardaway and some other stuff.
and
um,
don't say his name.
it ain't gonna be nobody of value.
Don't
I,
don't say his
they
name.
can have Tim Hardaway and Courtney Lee. As a matter of fact, take both of
No.
them. I'm not trading none of our young players. That's for sure. No Kevin Knox, no Mitchell Robinson, no KP, no. And
Speaking of
that's
that,
it.
we haven't talked about the summer league at all. I know that
Right.
we're like going to subject to subject to subject.
I know we're all
Uh,
over the place.
we're all over the place right now, but I'm really excited. I watched the summer league. This is the first time I've ever made a note to myself in my phone to say watch this summer league, and I was in Boston. I sat here and watched the summer league, and the Knicks basically robbed Oklahoma City of who we got in that trade. We got
And
um,
this cancer.
Cantor. We got the second round pick, which is turned out to be Mitchell Robinson,
Right. We got Doug
and we
McDermott.
and Doug who we got rid of. So basically, we got two guys who are going to be our centers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and Mitchell
We got
Robinson
two
is
we got two
steel.
centers. And
Yeah.
who do we trade Doug McDermott for?
Um. Gee. It turned out to be someone else really good. I forgot.
I don't even remember. Cause cause it's funny because I kind of wanted to keep McDermott, but then he actually did start playing kind of bad before we traded him. So
He was shitty as.
yeah,
You know what?
yeah, like that
I don't
last
want.
month
I don't
before we
want to
traded
keep.
him, he got
I don't,
pretty bad.
I don't want to keep cursing because I may actually this may actually come back to haunt me if I go for like a Senate maybe like 10 years from now. I go for like
More important
I'm
job.
sitting in front of a Senate Judiciary Committee trying to be confirmed as a director of OSHA. And all of a sudden, all of a
Is
sudden,
this you?
all of a sudden, the theme song to this song starts playing in the courtroom. And the senator just looks at me like, I'm like, all right, I'll get my coat.
You're like, I'll see myself out. Yeah. He's just talking,
It'll probably be somebody I badmouth. It's probably some senator I badmouth, like Chris
you
Christie.
hear the theme song, you just be like, all right, I'll see myself out. They were like, no, no, we want you to see what we saw when we looked up. So you talking about.
Excuse me, LJ. Can you explain this? Thank you.
So you
You're a
talk,
car too.
so you talking about white people? So you talking about this and that? I'd be like, you will find that one episode where I said one minor thing about a couple of white people.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm keeping it PG from now on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we'll
just in
see.
case.
We'll see about that. So yeah, Kevin Knox definitely looked good in summer league. Mitchell Robinson, I was like, okay, like they did exactly what you should do with a second round pick. Just go, just just wing it and see what. Even though you never seen him play, just go ahead and just see swing for the fences on a guy that you don't know anything about. That's what those second round picks should be for. Like this,
And they did a good job. And I want to make an apology to Scott Perry and who else is
the other guy that we always forget his name.
the other guy that I know what he looks like, but I don't really remember his name.
Yeah, I can
I'm
picture
gonna
his face.
I'm gonna send a apology to those two guys. When they picked up Knox, I was completely pissed because Michael Porter Jr. was out there, but Knox has turned out to be just like sensational. While I'm watching him, he's not the most he's not the most efficient scorer. Like he chucks up a lot. He chucks up some shots, not a lot of shots, but a lot of them don't go in. And but the thing I like about him is he'll actually make those mistakes and then change up the game. He won't just keep chucking up 3 pointers.
Right, right.
And then later on in the game, when guys are looking at him to penetrate, He'll chuck up 3 pointers and just net them,
Nail him,
and
yeah.
yeah, and just nail them, just like it. And like he plays good defense too. Like he tries on defense. He's athletic. I just don't want him to stop. Like I don't want to get my hopes up because if he turns out to be like a Tobias Harris, then we're all gonna be disappointed as Knicks fans. And
Right,
Tobias Harris is not a bad player.
right. But
He's
we
not.
just want more than that. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we want more than Tobias Harris. We want somebody who can give us 22 and 8.
right. Yeah,
That'd be great if he did
that'd be
that.
lovely. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, like, yeah, you're pretty much. I'm pretty much gonna echo what you said. Yeah, he's not efficient yet, but he is young. He's the youngest player in the draft. Um, he doesn't and I wouldn't say he chucks up shots. I'll say that he takes good shots. He just doesn't make enough of them for me. Like I didn't see him take any bad shots. I just don't think he's making enough of them. Like he was going 5 for 20 and 5 for 15. Like I want him to shoot a better percentage of I just want him to score better. But he was still having 20-point games. He was he moves the ball. He didn't have assists, but he moves the ball. Like if you watch him, you see he moves the ball. He doesn't force any shots. He's just not efficient yet. Because even I looked at his percentage in college. His shooting percentage isn't what I want it to be. But like I said, when you watch him play, you can see that he's definitely going to be a pretty good scorer. Now, again, like you said, you don't want to get too carried away. These are only summer league. This is summer league competition. This isn't NBA competition. Some guys, NBA guys, some guys are trying to make it to NBA. This isn't NBA competition yet. So we'll see how he develops. Let's see how he looks in a couple of years. Well, let's see how he looks by the end of the year. I think he's gonna have a pretty good rookie year, but I'm more interested to see what happens when he's turned 22. He's been in the league a few years, and he's gonna have more of an NBA body. He pretty much has an NBA body now because he kind of looks bigger than everybody out there. Like
He looks bigger, but that's the thing. Like when you look at his size and his weight is 6'8", 220, and it doesn't seem like he's. It seems like he's bigger than
Right.
220.
When he goes to the basket, he towers over guys. And he's just like dunking. Like the way he did that two hand dunk that he does makes him look so much bigger than everybody. So it's like he looks more dominant than he actually is when you look at his numbers. Like when you look at his numbers, you say he had a good game, and but he didn't shoot a high percentage. But when you watch the game, you're not seeing that. You're just seeing him pretty much dominate. Like it feels like he's dominating the game. Like he'll dominate a stretch of a game. Like he'll go a couple of minutes where he just scores 3, 4, 5 baskets, and then he'll go back to being moving the ball, whatever. When it wait for his turn. So I like a and Mitchell Robinson, like he reminds me of a young Marcus Camby, where he's just around the basketball. He's always on offense, on defense. Somehow he's around the basketball. Like he's blocking shots. He's going out and contesting. Like he'll go from under the basket and contest the 3 pointer and block it. Like I'm like, man, like you don't see. Like there's nobody else in the league that really does that right now. Like so like if you can continue that in the NBA level once he gets pushed around and we'll see what his stamina looks like against NBA bodies. But right, like he's a hustler. He attacks everything. He was having like 16 and 12 and 5 blocks, or 12 and 13 and 2 blocks. Like he just had a bunch of games where he was filling the stat sheet on defense, and not one play was called for him. So he's just getting everything straight off of just the ball, just being in the right
Yeah,
place
I agree. I agree,
and
and
creating opportunities.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
go
off.
ahead. I'm done. I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And there's not one thing that you haven't seen from him, but I've seen, not in the summer league though, but they talked about this and they showed him before the summer league, and they have those little clips, and they say he's an outside shooter. I haven't seen it.
Right.
I haven't seen it during the summer league, and I almost forgot about it until I thought, I was like, wait a minute, I heard he could shoot threes. Why is he
Right.
doing that?
Right. He didn't take one jump shot.
Yeah, he didn't take not one jump shot. So I'm wondering, like, okay, is it the play not called for? But maybe they see something we don't. But if he can shoot threes, then let him do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would like to see it.
Right.
Um,
I,
but the NBA season's a long season. We'll see what's happening this year, um, especially with the Knicks. Kristaps Porzingis is going to be out. They say till Christmas. I say if the Knicks suck, like if they suck, then keep them out.
yeah.
Don't play them.
I agree. Like, just don't even put him out there. And as far as what you said about the 3 point shoot, yeah, I heard about that too. But I wonder if they're just trying to hide that part of his game for now, and just surprise people with it when he's in the game when the games count. Because yeah, if he can do it, I'd like to see him do it too. But I mean, I don't want him to turn it into a 3 point shooter, but I want him to be able to stretch the floor in that way when you got guys penetrating and I mean, but I also know that we got some 3 point shooters out there, so it's like one of them things where you don't need him to do it a whole lot, but we do. I like that he can do it. If he has an outside shot, even if it's not a 3 point, if he can hit a mid range shot, when then that'd be great. But it's good to know that he can do it. But I guess he's just working on what he's supposed to do as a center, and that's fine too. Like if when we need that jump shot, bring it. um,
Yeah, and as far as the rookies go, I watched Phoenix, so I've seen Aiden a few times. I watched most of those guys play. The one I'm pretty much disappointed in is Mohamed Bamba out in Orlando. I thought he was going to play a lot better than he has, and he hasn't really showed anything. But keep in mind it's just summer league. Uh, you know, Aiden, he's pretty much doing really well. He did really well, but towards the end he started to taper off. Uh, the one who did the best is actually Knox, and I'm not saying that as a Knicks fan. I'm saying that to be honest, the rookie who did the best in the summer league was
well,
Knox.
I have to
In my
correct you on
opinion.
that. The
That's
actual rookie that actually did the best was Josh Hart from the Lakers. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not a rookie.
he's not a rookie.
Right, he's not a rookie. I'm sorry, but but Josh Hart.
As far as players go,
Right,
he was
right.
the best
He
player
was the
in the
best
summer
player in the
league.
summer league. But yeah, as far as rookies go, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kevin Knox was probably the best looking rookie. Sexton
Uh,
looked pretty good too.
I didn't see a lot of Sexton. I saw what's his face from Atlanta.
Trey Young.
Yeah, I saw Trey Young. He struggled a little bit beginning, but
He
after a while, that 3 pointer,
starting to
he just
hit
started
towards the
hitting.
end. The
He
last
started
couple of
and
games,
like
he
he was
started
hitting it with
hitting.
ease,
Yeah,
like way out
yeah.
there.
He seemed like he's gonna be one of those guys that's just streaky. That like sometimes he's gonna be really bad, or sometimes he's gonna be really good. But either way, I think he'll make it in the league because he can make plays other ways. He's not just a shooter.
Yeah, he's a
He
shooter and a
plays like
passer,
he's a true
so that's
point
what
guard.
that's what makes
He's
him
a
good.
point. Yeah, he's a real point guard. So, he seems like one of those guys that has to make adjustments because of his size and whatever. And he's a small guy, so he's not. He's skinny guy. So it's like he's gonna have to make a bigger adjustment. But I think he'll be a good NBA pro. I don't think he's gonna be like, you know, those comparisons of Steph Curry is gonna go away. I think he's gonna be a good pro though. Like I don't think he's gonna end up like Jimmer Fredette either, where he's out of the league. Speaking of Jimmer Fredette, I was at Fridays earlier, and they had some kind of tournament, the TBT tournament, and he was in it. It was he had, at the time he had like 25 points, and his team was winning. I was like, "What's this TBT tournament?" But I was watching it. And he was looking pretty good, but I never heard of it. I don't. It was on ESPN, I think. But
So
I was like,
Friday's
"What is
earlier
this?"
today.
Yeah, today. Yeah, like about 2 hours ago. um, yeah, he was. It was a. I don't know what this tournament was, but I didn't recognize any of the other guys. But he was on one of the teams. I was like, he was at the foul, and I was like, that looked like Fredette. And then they showed his name. I was like, oh, that is him. I was like, what is this? So it was some kind of tournament where you could win, and it was the actual tournament where it said the winner gets $2 million. I don't think that was the final game, but it was like the prize is a $2 million prize. I was like, okay, so
They got
this
split
is a
it.
legit, yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I guess they got to split it amongst the 12 or 15 guys. I
Yeah,
wonder how they did
would
that
be funny
shit.
if they just threw like a bag out there and dudes just float
Like
over
yeah,
it.
they just all just jump all over that shit. Um, yeah, but yeah. So as far as Trey Young goes, I think he'll be a good pro. We might as well talk about Michael Porter Jr. had another back surgery, so that's part of the reason why Jason was apologizing. I mean, now that doesn't mean he's not going to be a good pro still. I mean, he may miss the first season or whatever. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, they missed their first seasons and they look great now. So you never know. I mean, a back injury is pretty serious, but
But like he had a back surgery,
yeah, that's
and
pretty
like
serious.
again,
Yeah,
and I was just like, why is he having? I thought he was fine. He thought he was cleared.
right.
If he was cleared, why does he have another back
Well,
surgery?
that's why he wouldn't work out with anybody either, because he wasn't ready to work out with anybody. So that says a lot. You know what I mean? I still, I'm happy that they did what they did. I'm not going as far as apologizing because I do still feel like at that pick you just go ahead and pick the best. I don't regret it either way. I'm glad we got what we got, but I don't regret thinking that we should have took him because he was still the best player, and even though he was unknown, he was still considered the best player. So I don't regret thinking the way I thought about the situation at the time. But I'm glad with what we did so far. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens in 5 years from now. Who the best player is and how healthy both guys are and how well they're playing. So it still remains to be seen.